1412, July 14, 2025. A loud explosion tore through the air, shaking the makeshift runway. No warning, no warning. Immediately, the Ukrainian Su-27 shot up, its engine spewing red flames as if tearing the sky in half. Behind it, thick black smoke billowed from the artillery line, mingling with the whistling of anti-aircraft shells exploding in succession. The sky was no longer blue, only smoke, fire, and deadly lightning that tore across the field of vision. In the cramped cockpit, the mission clock blinked every second. On the silver wings, 3 American GBU-39s attached to the old Soviet airframe using a transplant technique that no one thought was possible, vibrated gently under the pressure of acceleration. The target, a Russian drone factory 280 kilometers deep in the occupied zone. There, every week, dozens of Shahed 136 were assembled, fueled, and launched to wreak havoc on Ukrainian cities. No escorts, no jammers, no escape routes. Just a lone pilot flying into the densest air defense network in the region, where a few seconds of error could mean a lock and annihilation. Outside, invisible radar circles scanned the air like predators patiently waiting for their prey to make a mistake. Every slight jolt of the fuselage was a reminder. He was in enemy territory and the fuel countdown had begun. He carried more than just bombs that day. He carried the silence of hundreds of people whose names would never be mentioned on the news, but who were the only reason he had pressed the throttle and headed straight for the fire. The Su-27 banked its left wing, sliding into the dark part of the radar map, what intelligence experts call the corridor of death. But the name is deceptive. It is not a safe zone, but a thin thread suspended between 2 blades. On the left is the S-400 with its deep scanning range. On the right is the SA-21 with its cold precision. From above, it looks like a small crack between 2 electromagnetic storms. But when in the cockpit, it is like flying in an invisible tunnel where any error of just a few meters will turn the plane into a brief flash on the enemy radar screen. Altitude is maintained at 200 feet, equivalent to the height of a 20-story building lying horizontally on the ground. The pilot follows the contours of the valley, every vibration of the metal frame transmitted directly to the control stick. No one in the world can perfectly simulate this flight path except a pilot who is actually in it, because every curve of the terrain, every edge of a tree, every riverbank can change the radar reflection signal. On the warning screen, faint Russian radar scans appeared at the edge of the corridor. They were like predators moving around the perimeter, smelling the trail but not yet finding a direction to attack. Each time the scan circle touched the edge of the Su-27 signal, the pilot adjusted a few degrees, like a rope climber avoiding each gust of wind that could knock him off the cliff. But this was not just a game of skill. This was a problem of weaknesses in Russian air defense tactics. The corridor existed because of physical limitations. The curvature of the Earth blocked radar visibility at low altitudes, and the antenna placement was prioritized toward intercepting high-flying targets. Ukraine had identified this gap, but sustaining it in real combat was another matter. In a few minutes, the plane would have to climb to drop its bombs. At that time, all enemy radars would lock onto him, and everything would depend on how long the attack window opened. He knew he was approaching a point of no return.